Morning. Good morning to replay viewers and whoever. Uh-oh. Come on. There. Good morning. Did I see Altony? Oh. I didn't share my thing on Twitter. If somebody wouldn't mind sharing the broadcast to Twitter, it didn't do it. I don't know why. Good morning. Oh, Jana. Yeah. It's supposed to rain for days and days. Hi, Altony. Altony's my niece in the yellow today. Hi, Susan. Still raining. Still flooding. Okay, you guys. The governor of Georgia has declared our county what do you call it? Put it in a state of emergency. Oh, thank you for sharing. I don't know why it didn't. It just gave me an error message that it didn't share my stuff out. And I apologize. The ding ding thing, it means that I didn't turn my notifications off. Let me see if I can do that. Hold on. I think I figured out how to do this without. Yes! Okay. Oh, a national disaster, state of emergency disaster. Oh, you did? Oh. That's weird. How strange. Well, whatever. I don't think anyone on Twitter pays a whole lot of attention anyway. Hear the love of our shares. Ding, ding, ding. So I left the Course in Miracles book in Loganville, which we cannot get to. If we had a vehicle powerful enough to get across the creek at the end of our road, the road right, so we go to the end of our road and then we have to turn right to get on the main road. Yeah, the elk mug today. That road's gone again. So we are well and truly stuck. I picked a different book because holidays can be so stressful. And the book I picked is When You're Falling, Dive. It's written by Sherry. I don't know how she pronounces it. My cousin pronounces her Cherie Huber. She is a Zen teacher. Hi, Sarah. And she has a lot of books on self-acceptance. So, accepting the stress of the moment we've been talking a lot about lately and not labeling the moment. So since it's Christmas Day, Merry Christmas if you're a Christmas person. I thought I would talk about a little bit about accepting the moment and going, giving full expression to whatever stress you're feeling. Merry Christmas! And the more full expression you can give it, even if you have to go hide in the bathroom for a while. Yeah, I don't have any. Well, I have stress because I would like to be with the babies. This is their second Christmas, and I'm missing it. You had to practice this last night. At least you were aware enough to practice it. Both babies had hand, foot, and mouth, and we can't get there anyway because our roads are gone. The whole town. The main roads into town are out. Yeah, both of them. And I am just crossing fingers and taking elderberry and using thieves, praying that I don't get it. Because I spent 2 days with them, and Ashlyn had a fever when I left. Yeah, it's a total bummer. So. Oh, it hit you yesterday. Oh, yes, definitely. Everybody's getting Reiki. So, the stress comes when we are fighting with reality. We're arguing with reality. We're wanting it to be different than it is. We're wanting people to be different than they are. And our stress comes because we're trying to control the situation. We want it to be a certain way. We want it to happen in a certain... I did. Yeah, and they haven't left, but the other grandparents are bringing food to them. So I asked her to have them stop and take some hydrogen peroxide to them. The only reason we feel stress, we don't have, we can't get out. But I'll let her know that in case the other grandparents can go pick it up for her. Immunities, I've seen it. I haven't used it. It's good to know. The war in your head is what creates your stress. So you want people to be different than they are, or you want the situation to be different than it is, and that push-pull is what sends your stress level through the roof. To stop that push-pull, you have to accept it. And all your wacko family members and all the craziness and chaos of some holidays as is what it is, the isness of it. So she's talking about who is afraid. Who is feeling the stress? I wonder what we would be like as a culture if we accepted that everything is the way it is rather than the way each of us in our family's ultimate test, in our private and shared fantasies thinks it should be. Acceptance interferes with our ability to continue to believe that life could be the way we think it should be rather than the way it is. So underlying, the reason we don't accept is because we're afraid. We're afraid of what will happen if we accept. We're afraid that we won't get what we need. We're afraid that other people will run us over. And actually the opposite happens with full acceptance, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels pretty scary in the beginning. So, who is afraid and of what? A huge stumbling block, the reason we resist accepting, is the fear that arises when we consider accepting ourselves, because we have to accept ourselves first. Many of us have believed, since before we can remember, that there are things about ourselves that are unacceptable, and that to accept them would be laziness, quitting, failure. Acceptance would feel like giving up. Can I really accept that this is the best I can do? Which movie is it with Jack Nicholson? He's in his doctor's office or somewhere, and he says, "What if this is as good as it gets?" Is that the name of the movie? Merry Christmas! As good as it gets? What if this is as good as it gets? What is so horrible about that? And the ironic thing is, when we accept that this is as good as it gets, it actually usually gets better. Or at least we feel better. Okay. Perspective, definitely. I'll be dooming myself to a life of lack, deprivation, and misery if I accept it. However, what we notice rather quickly is what's wrong with that? As we practice acceptance, is we feel more relaxed and life itself becomes more enjoyable. But what soon follows the relaxation and fun is fear. Something must be wrong. I've stopped trying to improve myself. What if we stop trying to change ourselves? And I'm happier. That can't be right. What's happening to me? When we step back far enough to observe the whole process, we see that there are two forces in action. Egocentric karmic conditioning and authenticity and true nature. As children, we're taught that to be socially acceptable, we had to leave our authenticity and to identify with our social conditioning that we talked about yesterday or the day before, the internalized other, the voices and messages we got from outside ourselves, from way up here when we were small, and we brought them inside and we started to live by them as if they were hard and fast rules. As we grew, we forgot we were ever authentically ourselves and came to accept our conditioning as I and me. Awareness practice, sitting down, getting quiet, and paying very close attention enables us to see that conditioned ego identity is not who we really are. To give up who I was for others. Yeah. A lot of us get that training. Oh, even as a kid, maybe you started out that way. We have to. Well, as a child, As a child, we are dependent on the big people for survival. So there's an instinctual drive to make sure that the big people are okay with us. And whatever that means, whatever form that takes, we have a drive as children to make sure that the big people approve of us. Otherwise, they might stop feeding us. Your mom's still a clown. I love your mom. Yeah, it's okay to be different. What a great lesson to get. But that survival drive as a child to make sure that the big people will continue to take care of you so you conform to what they want from you has to be acknowledged and outgrown at some point as an adult. Hello. Let's make everyone else happy mindset. Yes, because we're reading this. Because as children, if we're not making everyone else happy around us, we might get kicked out of the tribe, and that would mean death. Right. Sarah, your mom is cool. Right. You're coming into being yourself, and if others don't like it, they aren't meant to be in your life, and they won't be. The more you express your authenticity, people may leave, but then other people come in. Sometimes there's a gap, and where it feels like you might have lost all your friends, but what happens is new people come in, and then they get to know you from the start as your authentic self. Right. Everybody won't get you, and to try to make them get you creates stress. Accepting that they can't get it. Oh, Sarah. I bet they did, though. People laughed at her. Sarah's mom is a clown. Oh, they were laughing with her. Not at her. She is awfully funny. So, at least I agree. I think it increases our ability for compassion too. I bet that realization helps. We're just not even going to go down that road. You can see where the trolls are getting more subtle. We have to make a decision at some point. Are we going to continue to be wrapped up and hidden, or are we going to let our full energy break forth? And acceptance is part of that process. Once we accept ourselves, and we're totally okay with ourselves, we don't care if other people approve of it or not. It doesn't matter to us anymore. And so you're able to take the hit and the pain and the grief of losing friends and potentially family. You're able to handle it because the price you pay is more painful to stay connected than to let go and go through some grieving processes and be yourself. As we turn away from our ego and back to ourself, life gets more fun. The way life used to be back when we were kids and not yet so thoroughly programmed, and then comes the fear again. Why fear? Because if we practice conscious awareness, the conditioned perspective will wither and die. Yeah, honey badger don't care. Honey badger don't give a shit. If you guys don't know, please go on YouTube and put in honey badger don't care. It's hilarious. It's an older video, but it's so funny. Honey badger don't care. Take the attitude of the honey badger. Conditioning is a survival system, right? It doesn't want to die. This is the bottom line at the core of it all is we're afraid we're going to die. If we get booted out of the tribe because people don't like us, we have a primal lizard brain fear that we're going to die. And we have to constantly coach ourselves through that. We're not going to die. In the past, yes, in primitive history, yep, without our tribe we would have died. But that is eons old conditioning that we now have, thank God, the freedom to choose a different way. Conditioning will goad us with questions like the who do you think you are question. Is that the best you can do? What? Why do you think you have anything to offer? You know, all those things that are meant to keep you back, hold you back. It controls through fear. And if we realize conditioning tells us things to terrify us but can't deliver results, we can make it through to a relaxed, happy, and enjoyable life. I do Desire Map workshops, and then I do individual coaching on these topics. So here's the clincher. Tons of self-doubt right now because you're moving out there. You're putting yourself out there in a new business. So the natural response is fear, meant to keep you at status quo. Just recognize it for what it is. You're moving into a different stage of life. You're putting yourself out there. You're taking greater risks. As a natural component of that is a lot of fear and self-doubt and a lot of yeah from the Chihuahua brain. And just let it be there. Conditioning is not real. Your authentic self is real. If your life isn't working, it's because you're believing things that aren't true and doing things that don't work. As soon as you see that, you're free to make other choices, conscious, compassionate choices. I think that's big enough you can screenshot it. So what's stopping you? Nothing. It's very rarely anything physically stopping you. No one's got you tied to a chair. No one is, got your mouth taped over your mouth, except yourself. And that is a good thing because you can take it off. Conditioned beliefs and behaviors form loops that we have to step outside of ourselves to see. For new people, I guess I should say, I'm totally on a roll without introducing myself. My name is Michelle Wolf, and you can find all my information about coaching at cattyshackdesigns.com. CATTY Shack, SHACK, designs.com. And across the top are tabs about Reiki services, coaching services, Desire Map workshops, Young Living essential oils, cat friendly home design. Thank you, Jana. All kinds of stuff. Yeah, I think I've Lisa seen your some of your other scopes on cats and your Finn, your cat Finn, right? You have Finn, your sweetie cat. Kitties. The aspect of yourself that you're struggling with, thanks, Jana, I appreciate that, may be a big something or a little something, but the result of being caught in the loop is the same. Here's how she visualizes that loop, okay? It's that circular thinking. The circular thinking that just goes around and around and around and around, and what happens is we get caught in here. We wrap ourselves around with all these ridiculous thoughts, and we tie that around us as a story of why we can't, why we're going to let fear stop us. Well, sure. Yes. Do not lower your standards. It's just those circles of thoughts that are, let's see, it looks blurry. Let me see if I back it up. It's a never-ending cycle. It's all about your thoughts. She has several books. I have several of her books. She's a great writer. We're all trying to figure out what the right people do, what the right character traits are, what the right life is, the right person, the right spouse, the right boyfriend, the right home. Because we think if we do, we'll be safe. If I drive the right car, nothing bad will happen to me. That's crazy thinking, but it's true. If I have the right social persona, I'll be accepted and I'll be okay. And a lot of people find when their social persona cracks through tragedy or accident, the people they thought were going to keep them safe disappear because it was all based on illusion. Typically, we're looking at A Course in Miracles. Wear the right clothes, have the right hair, and then when you don't have the right Yeah, you don't feel satisfied. You don't feel safe. You feel lost and alone. Oops. All that is required is you accept all that is unacceptable to you. That's it. Yes, and if you're restless, something outside needs to change, or someone outside needs to change. When really the restlessness is your own desire to be authentic, and the blocking of it creates the stress. But here's all that you have to do. It is never ending. You just learn to not listen to it anymore. You learn that that's just a feeling like any other feeling, and you learn to let it exist. So it's not like it. Doing this work isn't like that those voices stop, because they don't. You just learn to not attach to them. The stories don't really stop. You just learn to have a little chuckle. Like, oh, gosh, there's that story again. This year is guilt for wanting to move away from all family, seeking freedom and room to breathe. So, start small. Yes, you see your stories now. So, the questions you could ask yourself is, moving away from your family might make you feel temporarily freer, but you'll tend to attract the same kind of people because you'll still be wrestling with those voices. Sometimes making a fresh start is exactly what is needed so that you can practice these things. And it's easier, like somebody said earlier, it's much easier to practice these things on people we don't know as opposed to family. Family's not generally a great starting point. But if you're feeling guilt about that, then you have to question those thoughts. So the guilt is, the thought may be, I shouldn't move away from my family. Is that true? You recognize and you continue to talk to yourself. So when somebody shows up who's trying to squash you like your family tries to squash you, you recognize that, okay, there's still part of me that believes that. Because if you didn't believe it, it wouldn't trigger you. So say, yes, you can limit your family without actually moving. You can start practicing boundaries. They're easier to spot with strangers, yeah. So say you have decided to become, boundaries is critical. Say you want to be a writer, and you have a parent who thinks that's the stupidest thing ever. And every time you try to talk about your writing, you get hammered down, it hurts, so you start avoiding them, or you stay with them, still spend time with them, but you feel terrible. So you pack up and move away, and you stop talking to that parent about your aspiring writer dreams. So what will happen is you have someone else show up in your life who says the same darn thing. What? Writers can't make any money. What makes you think you can write? Do you have a degree in writing? So all those negative voices will show up in someone else. If you're practicing awareness on a daily basis, then you recognize, oh, there's that person who's embodying my fears for me right now so that I can see them. It's life as a mirror, shadow work. People show up and they say to you the things that you say in your head. They act as a mirror for you outside. It's magical in a way. They come along and they say the same darn thing your dad said. And you're like, oh my God, where have I heard that before? So you're like, okay, now I get an opportunity to practice telling myself the truth. You always have to come back to the truth. You don't have to leave no. I wouldn't leave the job. You build walls rather than set boundaries, and you haven't figured it out yet. Okay. I wouldn't leave a job with a boss that's like a parent. I would use it as an opportunity to challenge myself to overcome that thinking. Where are you rude to yourself, Sarah? That'd be the question I would ask. Are you rude to yourself? Do you say mean things to yourself? Do you Are you rejecting of yourself in a rude way sometimes? Right, only you can fill the void. That's not them. So, throwing up walls versus setting boundaries is when we don't trust ourselves to handle what's coming at us. Yeah, people are wounded and they show it well, and if it triggers you, it's your wound too. You share the wound. If it's upsetting to you in any way, oh, I missed it. Because your mother-in-law is rude. So I stopped eating at my mother-in-law's house because I was pretty sure she was sneaking wheat into the food because I was getting sick when I left her house. And I have celiac disease, so I think she was making stuff with wheat and not telling me. She was a horrible person. She's dead now, but she was awful. I just didn't eat there anymore. Oh God, I know yours is awful. Your stories are hilarious though. Ultimately, when we don't trust our ability to handle the energy that's coming at us, we put up a wall instead of a boundary. Yeah. Oh yeah, on purpose. She was a mean, cruel person. Ugh. Walls mean we're hiding behind the wall. A boundary means I see you. Between a wall and a boundary. A boundary means I see you and I recognize that you're saying things I don't agree with. And I feel okay with accepting what you're saying. A wall means you say something and it triggers me and I don't want to feel the trigger, so I'm going to put a wall between me and you. A boundary is permeable. A wall is solid. A solid wall that I hide behind because I don't want to feel the pain you trigger in me. So if someone comes along, I'm a large woman. I'm not bothered by the word fat. If someone comes along and says, oh, I'll come get it. If someone comes along and says, Jesus, you're fat, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't trigger me in the slightest. So I'm totally okay with it. Whereas that word triggers a lot of other people. And sometimes when I say I'm totally comfortable with the word fat, it's upsetting to other people around me. So if I'm a person that's worried about the word fat, and I have a parent and I don't, but if I had a parent that judged me for being fat and was constantly making diet remarks, the wall would be is I wouldn't go see them, or I would really withdraw into myself when I was around them because I would have a wall there. A boundary would be I would still go to see that parent knowing that the stuff they say is their stuff, not mine. And I would feel compassion, like they must be so scared of being fat that they are so worried about everyone in the world that's overweight. It must really bother them a lot, and how sad. And I hope someday that they can feel comfortable with their body. That's the difference. Their stuff doesn't trigger me if I'm okay with it. If you're an empath, I think the goal is to learn to transform that energy rather than worrying about it or getting hurt by it. You disagree, that's okay. I can disagree with you and still really appreciate you and still spend time with you and still love you. We don't have to be in agreement. We're probably never going to be 100% in agreement. I appreciate you for who you are, even though I totally disagree with you. I live with a person that I have to practice that with because his views are not my views on a lot of things. But I appreciate that that's his worldview, and if I'd been raised the same way, I might see the world in that way also. Does that make sense? So a wall protects me from pain. The only way you can stop putting up walls is every time someone says something or does something that hurts you, You can tell someone, I don't agree with you, but we can still be friends. Yes. So the practice is when someone says something outside of you that's offensive or hurtful, rather than think about that person, you turn it back on yourself. So I always recommend Byron Katie at thework.com, or you can go on YouTube and enter her name, Byron Katie. She teaches a really effective method that I use a lot and we talk about a lot every day for taking apart those stories. If I'm hurt by you, I, in some way, believe what you're saying about me. I'm buying into it somewhere, or it wouldn't hurt. If someone came up to me and said, you're a racist pig, it wouldn't bother me at all. Thank you, Catherine. Because I know I'm not. I'm not a racist pig. But if someone came up to me and said, you're a bad mom, that might still hurt me because I still have areas of my daughter's childhood where I think I should have done a better job. So I still have some buy-in there. If I don't have any buy-in, I'm completely free to be around anyone. No, I don't. Not once it's solved. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so Sarah's husband is not at all triggered by the mom. Not at all. Other people are a lot. If it's still playing on your psyche, it needs more work. Yeah, once it transforms, it doesn't bother you. You can use the example of there's people in our worlds that someone really can't stand, and we don't have a problem with it at all. It's because it's not our stuff. The person who's bothered is the person who has the healing to do. If you're still triggered and impacted by other people, it's because you still have some work. He understands your patterns. He doesn't take it personally. Yes, and I think it's always coming up so you can work on it. If there's pain, it's your signal. Pain is not something to be avoided. At the end of Byron Katie's exploratory work, she has you practice looking forward to that situation that triggered you happening again so you can check and see, am I going to be triggered now? If somebody comes along now and says, wow, you're a fat cow, am I going to be triggered by that? I won't be. But in the past I would have been. I've always been big. Even when I'm skinny, I'm big. So in the past it hurt quite a bit, and now it doesn't hurt at all because I don't take it personal. That's their story about people's size, not mine. That doesn't mean it's not frustrating to find clothes sometimes. But I don't take that personally either. And then those people will stop showing up in your life. So I had a problem with authority, with fear of authority figures in my life. Once, and I attracted or ended up in situations where I was triggered by overbearing authority figures. So once I resolved that, I never again had a supervisor that was overbearing and crushing, that I felt crushed by. Yes, you don't attract those people anymore. Well, you may still be around those people, but they don't trigger you anymore. I am my age, these are my wrinkles, this is my shape. Great way to put it. If someone says something that still hurts me, it's a clue. It's a signpost. Yeah, and after a while, people know you and they respect your boundaries and you work through it. So it gets complicated, but the one thing to remember is to always come back to acceptance. Only if you're sure, I wouldn't, only if you're doing it with the intention that I know this is going to hurt me and it's going to highlight the areas I need to work on. The areas I still need to tell myself the truth. The areas I still need to heal. So if you're going into it with that mindset, like, I'm going to call this person, and they're going to trigger me, and then I'm going to go ask myself, what's this about? And where do I need to do it for yourself? Yeah, only for yourself. Don't expect anything to come of the interactions. If you call someone you're having a conflict with and the secret hope is you'll resolve it, don't call. If you're calling someone because you want to purposefully find out where your pain spots are, call. Because you'll be crushed. If you have a secret wish that maybe this conversation will lead to some connection with that person, yes, no agenda. You have to be sure that you don't have a secret wish for them to have a certain response. What if it's the fear that someone will do the same as another? Say more about that. The fear that someone will do the same as another. Like someone will hurt you in the same way. Yeah, it'll be awkward, but you can use it as information. You ruined Christmas forever. Sarah, she thinks you're really powerful. Sarah's mom gives her a lot of power. You are so powerful, Sarah. You're like queen of the universe. So say you accept that they don't accept your partner. Yes. If your purpose is to undo a pattern, that can be really rewarding. Yes. Very intimidated by powerful people. Powerful people intimidate the hell out of somebody. So, say you get betrayed by someone and you don't want to trust other people. Love you too. You're welcome. Byron Katie's videos are very informative for how to undo our trigger spots. You don't trust new people because you know they won't hurt you, because they will. Because we're people and we hurt each other. You trust your ability to always be okay. First you ruined Starbucks, now you ruined Christmas. Geez, Sarah. Sarah's going around wrecking the holidays for everybody. Oh my gosh. If you're not following new people, if you're not following Thrive with Sarah, no, we know. Follow her. She makes the most amazing mollusks and she's hilarious. Byron Katie. BYRONKATIE. You can find her at thework.com. She is a master at teaching you to accept what is. Plain red cups and mollusks for all. So, thank you. Total acceptance. You're like Krampus. You should call every family member today. If you're feeling that brave, you go, girl, and get on the phone. Nothing will ever bother you again. Yes. A past relationship makes me terrified of an impending one. Yes. Alternate. Go watch the video. I'll add you to the Perry Fam group. There's a video in there that you can watch. You're afraid of being hurt again. Acceptance of the fact that you will be hurt again, and knowledge that you'll be okay anyway, helps you take risks in new relationship. Krampus is the German. The German, is it German? The kid the bad Santa. Oh, don't watch it. It's terrible. But it's another cultural story, I think, from Germany. Krampus. Yeah. Thank you, Susan. Yeah, I don't watch horror films. Don't watch it. We're going to get hurt. Yeah, it's German. We're going to get hurt. Hi, Nina. You're going to be hurt, and you can handle it. We avoid pain when we think it's going to destroy us. Merry Christmas! Hi, Adrian. Merry Christmas to you. If we don't become comfortable with knowing we can heal from pain, we won't ever take risks in relationships. We'll get hurt that first time and never have another one. But it hurts because you think there was something wrong with you, or that you did something wrong, or that something's defective about you. It's about the other person, not about you. If someone hurts you in a relationship, that's their story about you, not yours. If someone leaves me because they think I'm a certain way that they don't like, that's their story about me. It might not be the next person's story about me, but we all tell stories about each other. So you know me, yeah, you can't make that your problem, but that's where your work is to recognize that then that's a pattern. And that pattern has to be looked at. So what do they say that you believe is true about yourself? If someone always leaves me because they don't like fat people, which why would they be with me in the first place? Thank you! Thanks, Adrian. I'll take all the love I can get. If someone leaves you in the same way over and over, they're reflecting to you something you believe about yourself. When you heal that belief about yourself, it won't happen anymore. Or it may happen again and you'll be like, oh, I recognize that. So if someone leaves me because they don't like how I look. So say I'm thin and I gain weight with someone and they leave me because they don't like my new fat body. That's their problem, not my problem. And I'm going to hurt over it. And I'm going to recognize it's okay. Because I don't want someone to be with me because they don't like how I look. You want someone's acceptance, but your acceptance has to start with you. So the only way that would hurt me irreparably is if I believed them too. If I thought, yeah, they're right. This new body is awful. And I don't want to stay with me either. That's the only way it hurts us bad. So if 3 people have left you in the same way, you're buying into their story about you somewhere. Does that make sense to you? If someone says you're a bad mom to a mother, if they believe they're a bad mom, bye. Right. Exactly. It's an inside job. It's a painful gift when patterns happen in your life, when something happens over and over again. The good news is you're seeing it. And you can change it that way. If you can't see it, you can't change it. You're seeing it now. That's the gift. Patterns. We've talked about this several months ago, where a practice you can do in your life is to go looking for patterns. Where do I have a pattern? Where do I have the same kind of damn person in my life that I keep getting rid of and they keep coming back? Getting to this point of something big happening and it fizzles. That's fear usually and resistance. It's an emotional stepping back. That's a happiness threshold probably. Yeah, you probably are. If you have a pattern of repeatedly just getting close to success and then it all disappears, there's some fear there of what success means. So what does success mean are the questions you ask. What do I need to know about this? Where am I sabotaging myself? Where am I afraid to be happy? Where am I can't you be upset at the fact you were attacked instead of the feeling that it's true? I think you can have both. I think you're upset, and then you go looking for why you're upset, and you heal that part. It happens to a lot of us repeatedly. There's a great book called, it's not the happiness threshold, because that's why I call it The Upper Limit. He talks about the upper limit. What's that book called? It's Gay Hendricks, Gayhendricks. He talks about the upper limit problem where we just approach success and then we screw it up. Or something seems to happen. Yes, The Big Leap. Thank you, Roseanne. The Big Leap talks about that problem over and over and over and over again. But you're coming back. In every case, you're coming back. Thank you. You're coming back to acceptance always. There's lots of different ways to look at it and lots of different techniques to handle these things. Acceptance is the bottom line. Always coming back to love. Always coming back to your heart. Always coming back to center. It's not the other person. It's not them. It's always me. Accepting all of it. The pain of it. That you have to go and heal something in yourself. Thanks. You guys are gifts to me. The process of working through this stuff is only for the courageous. Whew, it's hard to say. If you get to the core of it, not very long at all. The holy instant. That it's still an issue if it's been with you forever. Their story of you is theirs. The Course in Miracles calls that the holy instant. The minute you recognize the issue and remember the issue, can be very quick. Then it has to play out in your life. Woo, here comes the rain. I might lose signal, just to let you know. When it's done, it's done. If it's still happening, it's not done. If it's still triggering you, it's not done. Another good book is Michael Singer, The Untethered Soul. Yes. Choosing fear or choosing love. The miracle is when you see it clearly. It's a shift in perception. So the belief in there somewhere, if you're not letting yourself be successful, you have a belief about what success means. Untethered Soul is an excellent book. So if I think rich people are assholes, I'm sorry to be graphic, but if I think rich people are awful people, I'm going to do everything possible to make sure that I don't get rich, because I don't want to be an awful person. So what do you say about successful people? Yeah. Yes, it's usually very deep. And asking, here's the question you ask. If you've got a pattern, you say, how can I see this differently? What wants to happen here now? Ah! Yeah. So we have all kinds of beliefs about successful people. That they're shallow. We tell ourselves those things when we're not successful so we feel better. Right. That's the key. We're saying something, but the patterns in our life are showing it otherwise. Intention is critical. Asking, how can I see this differently, will bring you the information that you need, or it will bring you to the people that will give you the information that you need. Because we're all out there answering each other's prayers. Question is critical. Asking questions. Yay! You're welcome. We talk about this stuff, Lisa, every day before noon Eastern. Every day. 7 days a week. We're talking about undoing our stories. Yeah, every day. Before noon. I try to make it around 9:30. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. Every day, because this spiritual practice is every day. We never let ourselves off the hook. We practice every day. So what's happening is a lot of us in this group are picking apart our money beliefs. Yeah, absolutely. We're picking apart our beliefs about money. We're picking apart our beliefs about receiving good. Why we don't let ourselves receive. Yes, I do. And I do desire map workshops where we do a lot of this work. It's based on Danielle Laporte's material, but I put a lot of story stuff in it. I have another workshop coming up for women. Tickets are on sale for that. It's feelings.eventbrite.com is the next women's workshop. The men's workshop is closed. But the next women's workshop and picking this stuff apart in a group is extra powerful. It's online. It's virtual. Yeah, I've coached Michelle. Several people on here have been through the Desire Map workshop. So it's call-ins, 5 weeks, hour and a half. There's a Facebook group. And then forever after, there's a monthly group checking in. Thank you, Catherine. Just a few, like 3 to 5, Roseanne. Healings.eventbrite.com. Thanks, guys. And alumni calls. There's a Facebook alumni group, and there's a once a month group phone call where we all get together and talk about it. Healings.eventbrite.com. And then at my website, caddyshackdesigns.com. Thank you, Linda. Linda's been through the workshop. Michelle's been through it. Catherine's been through it. My mom, Blue Bobcat's been through it. 3 to 5 seems to be a nice, intimate group where we can really dig in. And we really dig into the stories. And we really focus on change. We say, change me prayers, like change me, God. Life-changing, yeah. Lisa, do you know Web Evie? Evie Toddy? She's been through my workshop. It was helpful to her, too. Changing my stories. Yes. Oh, God, yeah. Because there's a story there. We're picking apart stories. So mapping out cortisol feelings is you find how you want to feel, and then you find why you're not letting yourself feel that way. That's the part I think that might be missing in some of the desire map work. You find what you want to feel, and then you find out, how come I'm not letting myself feel that way? How come I'm stopping myself from feeling happy when I say I want to be happy, and then I do all kinds of stuff that make me not happy? I say I want to be one with God, and then I do all kinds of things that separate me. Then you give it to yourself. Yes, and we set up systems and planning for how to generate the feeling when you don't feel it. When you wake up in the morning and you want to feel connected and you feel completely disconnected, then we set up systems to trigger the feeling of connection so that you get back to that space. So if I say I want to feel love, I'll tell you how this worked with my husband, okay? I spent 13 years. Oh, okay, so they're picking up on something. I spent 13 years alone, chasing inappropriate, unavailable men. Because I really wanted to be married and really wanted a relationship. Once I got, and I didn't know this is what I was doing because I was actually using Abraham Hicks material, so desire mapping is nothing new. None of it's new. But I was walking around letting myself feel. I finally got to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm not going to find it. I totally accepted what I thought was going to happen, and I thought that I was going to be alone forever. So I totally accepted that. And I was like, okay, but I still want that feeling. I still want that feeling of committed love. I still want that feeling of commitment. So I started giving it to myself. I committed to myself. When I left myself in my mind, I left myself alone all the time because my head was always out there with whatever person I was attached to at the time. So I was always leaving myself. So the training was, I would tell myself, I'm married to myself. And I would get that feeling of marriage. And I would carry it around with me. I even wore a wedding ring for a while. I'm not wearing my wedding ring because I have a rash. So I married myself. And I didn't tell anybody I was doing this because I was pretty sure they would think I was nuts. I wore a ring and pretended. Oh, bless your heart. A desire map workshop would help you a lot. And desire map workshops are cheaper than individual coaching. 5 sessions of individual coaching is over $500. 5 sessions of desire maps only $350. And you get a hard copy workbook and essential oils. We use essential oils to help remove blocks too. And I'm going to be changing that up and using more individual. Yes. Yeah. Feelings.eventbrite.com is all of that. It's very hard to describe in words I'm relying a lot on other people's testimonials because it's extremely difficult. I'm not using just Danielle Laporte's materials. I'm using 20 years of working with people, being a therapist at one point, a social worker, yeah, and the Facebook group. There's lots of support built in. So once I totally 100% walked around feeling married all the time, literally about 2 weeks later, I met what would become my husband. That's a whole different story of chaos and mayhem. Because once he was real, then I had to start looking at why I pushed love away. So the more he loved me, the more I wanted him to go away. So then I had to look at all that stuff too. So it's definitely no happy, magical, and all the problems are solved when you meet that person. Then you get to look at why you weren't meeting them. Oh, my stomach. Right. Yeah, I really tried to get rid of him hardcore. And he just wouldn't leave. He had to chase me for a long time. The situation was, my entire world was turned upside down. I left my career. I left, just incredible, insane. Yeah, we do that. We don't want to get hurt. We are works in progress. Yeah, I still have to challenge myself to let him in more. Last night we were talking about love languages, and I said, so there's gift giving, and there's notes or written words, and there's verbal acknowledgement and stuff. And he said presents. And I said, yeah. I said gift giving. He's like, no, not presents. Presents. Like being present. Like, oh, he didn't say being present. He said like being really here. And I was like, oh shit. Because I do often, I'm out somewhere else when we're together sometimes. I'm thinking about other things. So he's asking for presents. And I can feel in myself like, I have a little more work to do there. To stay present with him instead of thinking about all the random shit I think about all the time. But that's an intimacy thing. So. Wow, you guys had lots of questions. Do you have more questions? I know there were so many in a row, I may have missed one. He wants me to be there with him, and I can feel internal resistance to that. Still. 6.5 years later. Yeah. It's, I guess I'm probably pretty entertaining to live with. There's constantly shit flying out of my mouth. I'm cursing a lot today. I'm going to try and work on that. Michelle, you do too? Feel that internal like, I have a hard time being present with you. Not about him, it's about me. Wow. Hot for teacher. Okay, so that's how it works. Yes, because we're thinkers and we love thinking. That's okay. You can have that. You can have companionship and stay single. We're out of our bodies, Michelle. Being in our bodies is probably uncomfortable still. It's a defense mechanism too. If you're always thinking, you're not accepting the reality that you're in. You're rejecting the moment. There are guys out there that are fine with it. Yes, you can have that. My husband's one of them. We actually don't spend a lot of time together. He goes and does his thing, and I do a lot of going and doing my thing, and there's a space there between us that's very healthy and something I never imagined would be possible. For a while, we had separate bedrooms, and it worked very well. We still sleep in separate beds. We're in the same room, but we're in separate beds. They're together, but we're together and we're apart. And it works really well for us. But we had to accept that, and I had to accept that our relationship was not going to look like a TV relationship. Because it doesn't. We have a big age difference, and We think we're very different. So it's made us work. I am looking forward to you meeting those who don't mind also. I have a number of people that I know who don't even live in the same house. I used to go to a writing group, and there was a couple there. The man was in Denver, and she lived in Boston or somewhere. And they met. They were together 2 weekends a month and holidays and vacations and stuff. But they didn't even live in the same state. You will when you feel it's already happened. You will when you feel it in your bones that it's possible and it's already out there and it's already in here. I had to bring my marriage inside before it showed up outside. But then when it showed up, like I said, then you get your goal and it's not like your work is over. Really, your work is just beginning. A lot of times. Because, man, relationships challenge you as to why you're not in one right now. So I had a pattern of emotionally unavailable men, and I was not emotionally available myself. I picked them, the hard part. I picked them so that my fears of intimacy would not be challenged. I didn't want to go there. So that's how I tricked myself, is I was only interested in men who were not interested or not available. Because I didn't truly, really want them to be available. So I wasn't ready to be available to myself. So once I could be available to myself, then I was able to start the process of being available to someone else. I was always complaining that I was always getting left, but I was always leaving me. I was leaving myself alone. If I'm out here thinking, I'm leaving myself. I've abandoned myself. I abandoned my body. I'm not aware of my physical needs. I am becoming more so. I'm out of touch. I'm not intimate with me. That intimacy with me has to start first. And if you're a heavy thinker and an idea person and a creative thinker, it's really hard to bring your mind in to this body. Yes, progress. That's okay. That's progress. Saying no to what's showing up as, I don't want that pattern anymore. You're getting closer though. If you're aware of it, you're getting very close. Being awake is the first step. Yeah, awareness is the first key. Acknowledging you have a problem is step 1. Thank you. You have to admit you have a problem first. You have to be aware there is a problem first. I'm getting the eyeball. I need to go. He made breakfast like 30 minutes ago and I haven't eaten. So anyway, you can find me at caddyshackdesigns.com. There are tabs all across the top for everything I do. I do Reiki with combined now. I'm combining them with Oracle readings and getting a lot of good information for people. Merry Christmas! I do desire map stuff. Awesome, Lisa. Thank you. And the tickets are on sale for the women's workshop until January 5th or 6th. Maybe the 6th. I'm going to go eat. I'm so glad that you all were here. I really didn't expect anyone to be here today. And that you had such awesome questions. And Catherine, please let Altany know if she wants to email me privately to talk about some of these things. She's just totally welcome to. If you're not still on here, Altany, are you still here? Oh, okay, there you are. You're welcome. You guys, my heart is so full. So full. Yes, I'll be here tomorrow. I'll shoot for again like 9:30, 10 o'clock is my goal. I'll always make it. Noon's the cutoff. That's my rule. Merry Christmas. I love you too. I love you all so much. You guys, my heart is seriously just spilling out all over the place. It's awesome. Thank you. Have a wonderful Christmas. Have a wonderful Friday if you don't do Christmas. Yep, 9:30 or 10. Tomorrow is the Tao Te Ching and Byron Katie work tomorrow. So if you have questions you want to work at picking apart, bring them. Bring it on. We'll do this stuff live. We don't care. Honey Badger don't care. Look that up, Honey Badger. Bye. Love to all you too, you beautiful peoples.